Hello, weirdos. My name is WILIscredia. Welcome back to Brain Mucus. This is the 7th episode of the horror of mental health. We took a little bit of a break. It was the holidays. What do you want from me? Everybody does this. It's fine. My guest and I discuss a movie of their choosing in this particular little series of mine. And the goal is not to judge or review the movie based on whether or not it's good or bad. It's to explore the significance of it regarding mental health in the life of my guest. And today we have a very special guest indeed. Gabby of Podcast in the Woods will be joining me. How you doing?
Hi!
Yeah. So for those who don't know, we had Boomer on a couple of episodes ago. I believe he was on episode 5. So for those who don't know, introduce yourself.
I am Gabby. I am the not very fun sidekick on Podcast in the Woods. I'm a little angry. I assist Booms in his very intelligent and very entertaining takedowns of classic and sometimes new films in the horror genre. We have a lot of fun. We have cocktails. Cheers.
Oh, fabulous.
And yes, and we just have a good time and we talk about horror and it's a blast.
Yes. And of course, I can attest. It's quite a fun podcast I like to listen to myself. They were gracious enough to have me on an episode where we talked about Demon Wind. In case anybody wants to have a listen to that.
Listen to it because it's really good, but not because the movie's really good. I don't care what anybody says. That movie, damn.
It's a ride. It's an experience.
It's a shame.
Ooh. Yeah,
but we had so much fun. And I was saying to Boomer today when he and I were talking, I was like, oh my God, that's the last time I talked to Dice. We have not in like, what, 10 months?
Ooh.
That was like February, right?
Oh God, yeah. It's been a while.
I mean, it's been a bit. Yeah.
I always
that was so much fun, though.
It was. No, I enjoyed that. That was like I always say. Whenever it's a bad movie, but you can have fun with it, it can be a good time. So that's why it's my fault. I chose Demon Wind. But
no, technically, Booms chose Demon Wind. He chose to subject me to Demon Wind, and I appreciate that you came to talk about Demon Wind so that I could have a good time. Because I did not have fun watching it.
I guessed it wouldn't be great for ya.
We have very opposite tastes.
Yeah, well, that makes it a nice little even thing with the podcast itself. It evens it out. So.
Shout out to John at Dewey Pod Monster. I think he's the one that enjoys it the most.
Oh, good. Somebody got to, bless you. Somebody has to. It ain't me, but
it's all for you, John.
Yes, it's all for you. Just like from The Omen, it's all for you. No.
It's all for you, Damien.
That, however, is not the movie we shall be discussing today. This is mental health, but not that kind of mental health. Instead, we shall first, before we introduce the movie itself, why don't you give a little background as to how you got into horror and when you became a fan, how long you've been a fan, shall we say?
Well, for anybody who is new to our show, I think it's going to be a little shocking to know how I got into horror, given my tastes now. When I was 8 years old, this was over 30 years ago. Let's leave it at that. We're not going to say how many 30 years ago.
We're not doing math here. It's okay.
No. It's 30 none of your business years ago. This was back in the days when we still had turn dial TVs. We didn't have channel guides. We didn't have anything like that. This was way back in the day. On Saturday afternoons, they would just, these channels, they would just play movies. And it was the fall. It was right before Halloween when I was 8. And I was flipping through the channels and I flipped to Halloween 2. And it was like about 10-15 minutes into it, and I was like, what is this? This is interesting. And I was like, I mean, by the end of it, I was like up in front of the TV, eyes bulging open. What in the hell just happened? This guy just killed everybody, and then they killed him. And it
Yeah.
was the most eye-opening experience I think I've ever had in my entire life with anything. And I was hooked from that moment. I was like, I like to feel scared. And it just happened that the next week was the book fair at my elementary school. And I bought these Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark books. And the rest is history. Like you never knew when there was going to be a horror movie on TV. Thankfully, when the Sci-Fi Channel came out, it was channel 14 on my turn dial. So I got a little bit more because, at 8 years old, 9 years old, your parents aren't really okay with you going to the horror section at the video store.
Probably not.
Yeah, my parents really didn't care much, but they cared enough that they were like, you can't put that with a melting eyeball on the cover. I feel like that might be a little too much for you. So to see like all of the TV edited, films, it was, and I've been hooked ever since. And it's been a really amazing, as I've grown as a person, I can actually identify how my personality has changed and how my horror tastes have changed. And it's so cool to know what phase of your life you're at.
Yeah.
By what you want to watch. And that's why I love horror.
Yeah, no, there's something for everybody, really. And that's such a wide range. Horror is the genre, yes, but there's a lot of different branches underneath. So, or roots, perhaps, is the better term. It's something for everyone. It's lovely. Oh, that's nice. Now, Halloween 2. Shockingly enough, unless I am incorrect, someone can correct me. I think you are the first thus far to say that you had a Halloween movie be the first movie for
Really?
You. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I'm sure it'll become more common as we go, but it's okay. And Halloween 2, that's refreshing. Halloween 2. I have a certain level of appreciation for it, but
to this day, I love that movie and I don't care.
Oh, it's fine. You got a nice attachment to it. I think that helps.
So many people, especially people who saw, because I didn't see the original first. I think so many people who saw the original first hate Halloween 2 so much. I really don't. I got to see Halloween 2 first. And as much as, of course, the original is better, there is a soft spot in my cold little stony heart that I love that movie.
It's certainly not the worst in the franchise, but that's a discussion for a different time, I think.
We'll have you on this show.
Yeah.
Or you can have us on. We'll argue.
Either way.
Who doesn't even like the Halloween movies?
Oh, God. We'll do a throwdown with the Halloween franchise. People in the chat will be very upset. No. Well, that's
yay.
Lovely. Yay.
Let's do it.
We'll do polls in the chat. Yeah. I'm good at that. Sometimes. I'm good at that. A varying opinion? How dare you? But the movie that you chose to discuss is what?
They Look Like People from 2015.
Yes. This one I had vaguely heard about some number of years ago. It kept popping up here and there. But I didn't know much at all about it, which to me is not a bad thing, because you go in with little to no expectations. So you've got pretty much a blank slate. With that in mind, of course. Let's see. Looking at my list of questions. Well, first of all, I guess we should summarize what the movie is about, if we can. So I'll let you go first. You picked it.
Okay, so They Look Like People is it's not a slow burn. It's more of a character study. It's a psychological horror. It's about two friends, male friends, grown. That's important for the discussion.
Yes.
two male friends that are grown that have kind of drifted apart in the years. One went one way, one went the other. But they did experience life. And now they're both at a crossroads. And one is kind of one way, one is kind of the other. And they are both experiencing something in their psyche and their emotional state that kind of brings them together in a way that if you haven't seen a formerly close friend in years and years and years, you need something to bond you back.
Mm.
And they find that, but they don't realize that they're finding it. And the things that happen when they become friends again, terrifying.
Mm.
In my
Very
opinion.
much. Well, yeah, no, I was. There were several points where I was actually a bit tense and like, oh boy. But we'll discuss that. And of course, I forgot to mention this to you. I'm afraid, but we can absolutely spoil the ever living shit out of this movie. It's fine. So no worries as far as that goes. We're gonna kind of have to in order to really explore it, you know. So
sorry, viewers.
we do recommend, if you plan on watching this, of course, watch it then come back. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Experience it for yourself.
Bye.
Yes. It's fine. Just mute this. Come
See
back.
you
It's
soon.
good. Yes. Yeah. It'll be totally fine. All right. So let me see.
You'll love it.
Yes. With that, I think this will be a very, very interesting thing to discuss. I actually had to look something up to make sure I was getting the proper name for it. But, in your opinion, what are the mental illnesses or disorders that you think are represented in this movie?
I think that there's a little bit of borderline personality disorder. I think that there's a little bit of paranoia.
Mm.
I think there's a shit ton of schizophrenia. I think that there's a whole lot of bipolar. I think there's a lot of depression, a lot of low self-esteem, a lot of I don't know the word. I lost it.
I do that all the time.
Hi. Listen to Podcast in the Woods. Gabby has great thoughts. Yeah, I think that there's a huge gamut that runs this, and it obviously it's not a DSM diagnosed disorder. There's a lot of loneliness in this movie.
Yeah.
And to add that to all of the things that are happening with both of the main characters really combines to kind of a culmination of all of the stereotypical mental illnesses, all of the crazies that happen nowadays that people can easily identify, to kind of make like just a little bit of a mishmash of everything, a little bit of antisocial, a little bit of, it's, oh God, it's so good.
It's a mess. There's so much, yes.
It's a mess.
Very much.
No, but I love it.
Yeah, in a very almost artistic way, I'll say. It seemed kind of indie art house. It's a very beautiful movie. Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it's very indie. Yeah.
Hello, Aaron. Merry Chrysler. Now, I think you covered a lot of the stuff that I was picking up on right off the bat. I had to look this up. This is the one I had to look up because I knew there was a term for it, but I couldn't remember it. And I'm sure they've covered this in a few different things. Hannibal was the first thing that came to my mind, but let me see how much I can fuck this up. Persecutory delusions.
Yes, bitch. You did that.
Yes, we do be trying, don't we? We practiced a few times when we first got it because I was like, well, we're not gonna get this out the first try. Possibly. I know it's linked a lot to people with dementia or Alzheimer's, but I specifically looked up condition where people believe that others are demons, and that's what came up. So, it is of course, a neurological disorder. It can be linked to a number of different things, but that's something that I think, what's his name? Wyatt was probably dealing with the
Yeah.
most. Because in the movie, there are these phone calls that he will get that seem to be from people he either doesn't know or does know, telling him about this apocalyptic situation that's going to be happening, some sort of shape shifting thing that can infect anybody and they don't know how, and he has to prepare for a war, essentially, even against his
Mm-hmm.
friends. So it sounded very much like that. Keeping in mind, of course, I'm pulling this directly out of my ass, but that's one of the things that came to mind. And the schizophrenia, the bipolar, as you said, borderline. I'm sure there's a lot more that others can read into this.
Oh my God, yeah. I actually, without giving too much away, I guarantee you he doesn't even know that I'm on a podcast. So I can also double guarantee that he would never listen to this. I actually have a cousin who went through a disorder that's very not well known called schizophreniform disorder. And with schizophreniform disorder, you experience symptoms of schizophrenia and then it goes away.
Huh.
It it's almost exclusively to adolescent young men. It's not something that somebody who is Wyatt's age, and I'm assuming that Wyatt and Christian are about late 20s, early 30s, I think is a pretty
Yeah.
good guess.
Yeah.
Um, but he, for a little bit, our grandmother was a paranoid schizophrenic. She lived with me and my parents when we were kids. Now, she was my dad's mom. My dad was my stepdad, but he raised me, but we were not related by blood. Um, Schizophrenia, schizophreniform are disorders that skip a generation. So none of her children had any of that. However, he was the one that got the thing, you know. And so for about 6 months, he believed that people were demons. He believed that his parents were replaced by the devil. He believed all of these things, and he was very much hearing voices and all of these things. He is now a very successful fucking CPA, and he's married with kids and great and doing well. But there was a while there that it was like, oh no, he's taking after grandma. He's fine now, but that's the difference between schizophreniform and schizophrenia is schizophreniform, the classification that switches it from real schizophrenia is that it doesn't last long. It's like a switch and then a switch. And watching this movie, of course, he was like 17 or 18 when his episode happened. Watching this movie, it just made me think of my cousin the entire time, because I remember my dad coming home and saying like, oh, we're so worried about your cousin because they were at Arby's and he wouldn't get in the car because he thought his mom and dad were demons and that they were going to take him to hell instead of home. And, and that's my grandmother. That was her thing, is with her schizophrenia, there's regular you and there's evil you. And everybody has an evil twin. And when she came to live with us, she only lived with us for a year. It was when I was 14 to 15. She believed that my evil twin was trying to kill her.
Yeah, that would cause a problem.
Yeah. So that was really hard. And as a 14 to 15-year-old, it wasn't, let's be honest, it wasn't hard. It was fucking weird, and it was kind of funny that it was like, I would just, as an asshole teenager, I would jump out from behind the wall and be like, bah, grandma! And she would be like, ah! I was a dick. We were all dicks when we were teenagers.
Everybody was a little bit of a dick when they were a teenager, I think.
It's kind of an asshole when they were teenagers.
What's important is that you grow out of that, just a little bit.
I worked in mental health for years after living with my grandmother.
Yeah.
Not because I felt bad for being a dick when I was 14, but just because I saw how hard it is and I wanted to help people. Yeah. I worked in the mental health unit in a prison once.
Okay.
A women's
I
maximum security prison. Can you imagine? They
no,
loved
actually,
me.
I can't. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense to some degree, and I mean that in the best way, of course.
I
uh,
mean,
I deal with my own shit. I don't think anybody needs me asking for help, or asking me for help or whatever.
yeah.
I don't think it would go well. But that's a good point. I was not aware of that variation, if you will, of
The
schizophrenia. So it's
schizophreniform?
very interesting. Yeah, I didn't know about that. That's interesting.
N- Not a lot of people know about it. It's I don't know if it's rare, but it's not talked about.
There's
Definitely.
a. I do have to say, we're getting a little bit better, but there's still so many different mental and physical issues that people just don't know about, but are still an issue. So
Yeah.
maybe in this way, we'll be able to bring a little bit of knowledge to some of these things. We try.
I hope so.
We try. But that is
We're
very
trying.
interesting. And I
Yeah.
think that would apply very well, perhaps, to Wyatt with what he goes through, especially at the end. Because
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna pretend that I know what schizophrenia is like. I'm not. That would be very ignorant of me. But I I know that with certain treatments, did I freeze for a moment?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, I'll start over. With certain medications and with certain treatments, schizophrenia can, of course, get better. You can't
Mhm.
cure certain things like that, I know. I know what I deal with. But why pretty much undiagnosed, untreated, whatever he may be dealing with, certainly seems like schizophrenia, or I'm gonna slaughter it, so you say it again.
Schizophreniform.
Yes, thank you.
It's so fun to say.
It has a
No
nice
offense
rhythm
to
to it.
anybody who's ever suffered from it, but it's
It
actually
rolls off
very
the
fun to
tongue.
say.
It's nice.
It really does, yeah.
So that would make sense. There's a lot of different
Yeah.
indications, I'm sure, throughout the movie, and for people who do have schizophrenia who might have seen this, I would be interested to know if they're like, yes, this is very accurate. I know it's once again a little bit different per person, but I'll have to look at some of the reviews. I wonder if someone has given feedback that way.
One
Something to
of the
look
jobs
into.
that I had in mental health, I worked for a group home of reintegrating adults with mental illnesses. I helped them relearn all of their life skills and, kind of figure out what your life is going to be like now that you've been diagnosed and you've been in the hospital and all of those things. And um, we used to have all of these trainings. You constantly had to be relearning and learning new things and doing new things. And um, because that's one thing that we can say about the mental health field is thank God it's constantly evolving.
Mm.
We're constantly learning new things. The DSM, um, the DSM for anybody who doesn't know is kind of like what it's the Bible for mental health diagnoses. Um, it's constantly changing and it's constantly being revised and it's constantly being republished because there are so many things that we know now that we didn't know before.
Mm.
There are so many things that are just part of a person's personality or psyche that years ago were considered mental illnesses and now they're not. And there are a lot of things that used to be considered part of a person's personality that now they're considered mental illnesses and now we know better. um but I do you remember A Beautiful Mind, the movie with Russell Crowe?
Oh god, I don't think I ever watched it, but I was aware of it.
John something, it was a biographical pick about he was a real person. His name was John something. He was a mathematician, but he was schizophrenic. I had the opportunity 20 some odd years ago to wear the virtual reality. It was the same exact virtual reality program that Russell Crowe did to kind of get into character for A Beautiful Mind. It was a virtual reality thing. You put the goggles on and you were a paranoid schizophrenic. So you heard the
Mm.
voices, you saw the visions, you went through all of these things, you felt that paranoia. And schizophrenia, there are a lot of things that I would wish on my kind of enemies. I wouldn't wish that shit on my worst enemy.
Yeah.
Terrible. Terrible. It was, to this day, there will never and has never been a horror movie that could be more terrifying than living a day as a paranoid schizophrenic, unmedicated.
Fair. Yes, I would agree with that. Like I said, with the very limited, I think you've had a lot more. No, let me rephrase that. I know you've had a lot more knowledge and experience when it comes to stuff like that. So with just my limited knowledge, and I do have friends who do have schizophrenia. From what I've heard from them, no, it's, and I don't mean this in a demeaning way, in the slightest, but I feel bad for them that they have to deal with this. But I
I
also,
don't think that's demeaning at all.
yeah, no, well, I don't want it to seem like,
Some people will take it because some people are bitches. I get it. Yeah.
but at the
Calm
same
down,
time,
bitches.
yeah, it's all
Yeah.
right. We're here to share, we're here to feel. Um,
We
and
actually love you. We're not pandering.
yes,
You're welcome.
I'm doing
Get a
this
grip.
for you. We're trying to. I swear, in my ignorant little way, I'm trying to help. Also, on a side note, I see all your comments. We will get to those in just a second. Hello, everybody. Blanket, hello.
Hello.
But from at the same time, I'll feel bad, but I also have this, and I'm sure a lot of people are tired of the whole "you're so strong." It's not in that way, but an admiration for the strength that it takes to continue to live your life as best as you can and seek help, especially seek help. I think it takes a tremendous amount of strength.
Especially with a schizophrenic, because when you're in the throes of a paranoid schizophrenic delusion, those voices, every single one of them is going to tell you, you don't need help. They're helping you to hurt you.
Yeah, just like
that is
what was shown
one
in the
thing
movie.
that with all this, yeah, exactly. They're going to tell you that you're wrong, but you're not wrong, and to still have that little bit of yourself left that you can take a step back and you can separate. You're right, and I don't give a fuck if people think I'm pandering. It's admirable. I said it. Bye. I don't care. I mean, like, and then, another thing that happens with schizophrenics is they start the medication. If they actually ever get to the point that they're like, okay, I definitely need help, they start getting that help. The voices stop. The paranoia gets a little bit lower. And then they're like, well, I don't need this anymore. I'm cured.
Yeah.
And then they stop taking the meds. And then you go on this cycle, this endless cycle, to live through all of that and to just keep going with your life. God, hats off. I mean, seriously. And I don't mean that in a sarcastic or
no.
You know what I mean? I mean that genuinely. I don't know that I could.
It takes a lot, and I myself, with what I deal with, is that's enough for me. So I can't even imagine. So
no, it's crazy.
very much.
Probably the wrong choice of word, but you know what I mean.
Difficult in a chaotic sense.
Sorry.
All right. So I watched
Spotify Podcast in the Woods.
Yes, come visit. Highly rated. No. I know that my first time watching this film, and this is another reason that I really like doing this podcast and this series in particular, is that there are things that people will come up with that I haven't seen, so I'll watch it for the first time because of this. And this was one. I watched it yesterday to make sure that it was fresh enough in my mind and I still had time to mull things over. But what was the experience of your first time watching it like?
Well, I can't remember if we were planning on doing this for an episode or not. For a podcast in the woods. I am a very busy, very stressed out single mom. As of late in the past year, I've been through a divorce, and so my horror consumption has kind of gone down a lot. The only time that I am able to sit down and really watch a movie and really pay attention to a movie is when I watch with Boomer. And thank God for Boomer, or I would be the worst horror fan on the planet at this point, because I wouldn't watch anything. I would be like, "Ooh, that looks good."
Add it to the watch list years
And then
later.
yeah. Oh, hey, Exorcist Believer 2028. I'm gonna watch that. It's from 5 years ago. Let's see if it was good. Yeah, thank God for him. But he's constantly, and if anybody follows our Twitter, which I have absolutely no participation in at all. So if you hate me, follow us on Twitter at What's Podcast One, because I don't do anything with it. He does like his horror first watches. So he's constantly looking for new things to watch. So he'll say like, hey, there's this movie, you're going to hate it. Or there's this movie, I think you're going to love it. Let's watch it. And so, like I said, I can't remember if it was something that we were planning on watching for the show, or if it was something that, you know, for as much as I don't sit down, I still will keep track of everything on Shudder, everything on Screenbox.
My watch list is in the thousands.
Oh my, it's so ridiculous. I know, it's terrible. I'll never catch up. But this was on Shudder at a point, and this was when it was on Shudder, and he said, Gabby, you're going to fucking love this. I think we should watch it. And I was like, let's watch this. And so we did. And it was one of those movies that I love, a psychological horror. It's one of my favorite subgenres. And he guessed well. Hi, Booms. I miss you, friend. But he really did, because this was absolutely 100% up my alley. This was everything that I look for to be scared. This is the kind of shit that scares me. And it's also, sorry, Booms, if you don't want me to tell people, this is also Boomer's biggest fear. So this movie actually represents Boomer's biggest fear. So we turned the lights out over FaceTime. Yeah. We live about 8 hours from each other. So like we got on FaceTime, we turned all the lights out, and we watched this. And even watching it in the dark, there are so many subtleties in the background that I watched this today. I finished it about 20 minutes before we started my rewatch. And there were so many things that I picked up on that as soon as we're done, I'm going to watch it for a third time, because I really want to see if there were a couple things that I didn't quite see that I might have seen. And yeah, so the first time that we watched it, I feel like we were both like this. Like, and a lot of this.
Did I see that? Did you see that?
Was there somebody behind him? Like, did her face just change? Whoa. Did he just make a sound? And it was such a fulfilling horror experience for me. How about you?
That was a very interesting thing, because like I said, I didn't really know anything about it going in, but from the title, I assumed this is going to be like one of those, okay, are they actually who I think they are or not? I kind of assumed that, which I was right about. But this is a very grounded in reality kind of horror movie. It could be perceived as supernatural, at least at certain points. But yeah, there's a lot of audio stuff going on that you need to listen to. You really don't, now that I think of it, I don't think we really get any sort of like score or music in the background like we're used to in horror movies. It's all just atmosphere. I don't think there's any music
in this. Yeah.
Yeah. There's buzzing, stuff like that. And like you said, visually, especially in darker points of the movie, you're like, what was that?
Exactly. So, yeah. Who's there? What are you doing? Yeah. What happened?
Is that actually real or no?
You turn into the slasher girl. Is someone there? Like, yelling at your TV in the dark. Yeah. Like, what happened? Like, yeah, no, completely.
And I happened to watch it on like a really overcast, kind of dark, moody day, so I was like, ooh, okay.
Yes.
All right. So, let's
I
see.
think that would actually be better than watching in the dark.
It could be. I mean,
Right?
the movie itself seems pretty overcast, gloomy, in a way.
It's a very gray palette, which I love.
Yeah,
Reminds me
nothing's
of
really
Seven.
saturated. Ah,
Yeah.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's
Which is
see.
also a movie about a mentally disturbed man.
True. Very true.
Mm-hmm.
Many things to delve
Several.
into with that.
Several. Yeah.
Several unstable people. Otherwise known as,
Yeah.
here's my friends. No. I say it with affection. Affection is all.
Hi, friends. They love you. Seriously, they do. Yeah.
I hope so. Otherwise, why are y'all here? Once again, I see your comments, guys. We will get to those. We have a little segment for that. So just 1 second. Hello once again to everybody who just came in. But one question.
I hurt my hand, and it's hard to wave. So I'll just wave with my right hand.
Just you do one of these. You know, one of the.
Just do that. Hi.
One more question before we do get to the audience questions. What?
Okay.
You kind of mentioned a little bit of this in regards to Boomer. So, kind of similarly, what are some horror movies that you avoid?
Well,
aside from dumb ones.
I don't like a dumbass fucking movie. I do not like vomit. Or poop. I mean, it doesn't happen a lot in horror, but I don't want it.
Sallow is a no.
Sallow is a no. Sallow is a hell no. My other hell no is Ichi the Killer. That movie actually made me physically sick. I vomited watching Ichi the Killer. I did have a stomach bug. However, I've had stomach bugs watching gory films. I'm not a huge gore fan. I've always said I'm not a huge slasher fan. And credit to Booms. The more I watch with him, turns out I really like a slasher. Hi. Welcome to my life. I have no idea who I am.
Exploration.
Hey. Yeah, it's I do not like a ton of viscera. Fuck you, vomit. I don't like a lot of like body fluids. I don't like all of that. I don't like stupid horror. I like good movies. Such a snob. I'm so sorry, everybody. Oh my God. You're never gonna have me on again. Are all of the comments saying that they hate me right now?
Oh my God. Who was this? No. No. Nobody.
Really?
Nobody better not.
Shocking.
Hey. We all nice
Not
around here.
yet.
Come on now. I know y'all shouldn't
Bitch, I
be
hate
like
you
that.
too.
The feeling is mutual. No, usually the like hate comments are directed at me, so that's fine. But
who the fuck is hating on you? Because I'll go to their house too. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, good luck. I think it'll be an underage thing. You know, some sad little prepubescent individual living in their mother's basement, maybe.
Yeah, that's why you go to their house and beat their mom's ass. I don't give a fuck.
I would like to speak to the family. No, now, I believe that we shall say hello to everybody in the chat here. I see everybody was collecting. Hello once again, Aaron.
Hi,
Merry
guys.
Christmas. Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
So, you know, we'll say Merry Christmas now, because I imagine that the next episode of this will probably be after Christmas. So,
yeah.
Happy Christmas, New Year.
Oh, I should have worn my Christmas sweater.
Well, you got a Christmas tree behind you. I think that counts.
Wait, I'm so bad with mirror image.
Ta-da!
There it is. It suck. There it is. I am left-handed. That's my excuse, okay? Everyone, okay. I don't care. Yeah.
I have no excuse. Let's see. Aaron Martin, what are non-horror movies that you consider horror in your opinion?
Ooh. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah, I've heard that
That movie
one.
fucked me up.
That one, I feel like maybe to a lesser degree could also be in a category of like Requiem for a Dream.
Um, my little sister, well, Requiem for a Dream came out years and years and years ago. Um, I never watched it. I have a sister who died from an overdose. Nope,
Yeah,
I'm good.
it's I don't have direct experience with anything like that, of course, but just from little things that I've heard and seen, I'm like, I will never be in a good enough mood for this. I don't, I don't need this. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a
No, I
beautiful
think
film.
I'm sure it's great, and everybody loves it who has seen it that can sit through it, and God bless them.
Yeah, no,
But in general, Aaron, I think that a non-horror movie that you consider horror would be something that kind of plays into, it would be something dramatic, and it would be something that kind of plays into what have you been through. Maybe not quite something that you're afraid of, or it could be something that you're afraid of in real life that's not necessarily a masked killer standing on your back porch with a machete. Anything that just kind of gets into your head and fucks with you a little bit is horror to me.
yeah, and I'm sure a
Yeah.
number of people will agree with that, myself included, of course. Horror is subjective. It doesn't necessarily need to be something that was made with the intent of it being a horror movie. You can
Yeah.
take it like a horror movie. Someone could watch, I don't know, I, Tanya, and think it's a horror movie. I don't know.
Oh
It's
my God,
entirely up to people.
I fucking love Margot Robbie.
Oh, she's
Anyway.
fabulous. Yes.
Oh my God, she's amazing. Barbie was everything, and I don't care. And I did the Barbenheimer weekend. I did that.
The back to
So
back, the
Barbie on
double
Saturday,
feature.
I saw Oppenheimer on Sunday. Oh God, it was so good. Both of them.
No, I've
Margot,
heard
I
good
love
things
you, and
about
Ryan
both.
Gosling. Hi. I look
Ryan
nothing like
Gosling.
Ava, but hi. If you ever get tired.
If you ever want to visit, hi.
Did you ever have a little redheaded spice in your life?
Hey, you know, gingers can be sought after. Hey, yeah. Live the fantasy. Yes.
Hey. Anyway.
Aaron, mine are Deliverance, fair, and Ghost 1980.
Aaron, you fucking genius. Yes, Ghost. Did you ever see Ghost?
Ah, God, I keep
Wait, are
meaning
we
to
talking
sit
about
down.
Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore?
That's what I'm assuming. Correct us if we're wrong, Aaron. That's what I was assuming. But I mean, it is ghosts. Is it ghosts? It counts. Deliverance is a horror movie for a wholly different purpose.
No. We're not going to do any quotes from that one. Yikes.
No, no one is ever wearing tighty whities again. No. Hello, Sarah. I love a beautiful
Hi,
mind.
Sarah. That's my sister.
Aha! Bonjour, welcome.
Hi. And that's my little niecey, Claire. Hi, Claire Bear.
A very adorable little child. Yeah.
Oh my God, she's so cute. You would die. Yeah.
Hello, Louise. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Louise.
Happy festive activities. Yes. Louise, I hate when movies make characters who suffer from schizophrenia evil people. That's fair.
Girl, preach. Yeah.
And trying not to spoil too much. I know we said we would kind of spoil it, but in this movie, I was very pleasantly surprised with the ending, and I felt very satisfied with how they handled it. I was
Wyatt
very
was
glad
a
about
very
it.
sympathetic character.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I, just like Louise, I don't have schizophrenia. I don't have a number of mental illnesses. I have a few. But I do dislike when stereotypes are played up, when people with mental illnesses such as this are just automatically made to be the villain or the bad guy or whatever. It's not a good thing. It doesn't help.
Yeah. Yeah. I think speaking of the blurred line between like suspense and horror and action and drama and all of those things, Seven is a really good example of that. Saying like you don't want a movie that classifies anybody and you don't want the schizophrenic to be evil. when Brad Pitt is freaking out about John Doe, and he's probably somewhere dancing in his grandma's panties and, doing all of these things that, and Morgan Freeman says, don't do that, and I think that that's something that, I don't think that it started a trend, but I think that as time goes on, people are getting a little bit more sensitive to the fact that just because you have this illness, you're not necessarily evil. It's it's just a thing. It's an illness that you have, and I hope, and I think we're on our way, but I also hope that someday that'll kind of be what happens with addiction, movies portraying addicts.
Yeah.
These are people that are suffering from an illness, a mental illness. And, Louise, I agree with you completely. Hey, girl.
Hello, Sean. A movie I've never heard of. I would recommend it. I think it's a good psychological
film. It's on Tubi for
film.
Free, Sean.
That's true.
Yeah,
Tubi and Freebie. I'm sure a few other places. Tubi's where I went.
I think people watch Pluto. Yeah, me too. Shut up, Dice. We're besties.
Yes, we have many things. We gotta keep many things open. Tubi. Hello, thank you.
We have to hang out more often.
Yes, of course, absolutely. Everybody's saying hi, hello. Hello, fourth drawdown. Welcome.
Hi.
Aaron once again. What's your favorite holiday movie guilty pleasure? I love Jim Carrey's Grinch from 2000 and Black Xmas from 2006. I have a few.
Actual Christmas film that's my favorite guilty pleasure is the original Grinch, followed by Christmas Vacation, obviously. But I think that, I don't know if other families were like this. It's not a Christmas movie, but Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
They always put that on TV around Christmas time. I guess candy, that's all we need.
Christmas and Easter. Yeah. Yeah, and that's my favorite. And I actually showed that to my 6-year-old son this year, and he liked it. So, yay.
There's a lot of colors in that. And candy, I mean, what more do you want here? And
you know what? It's so funny. As an adult, I'm terrified of the boat scene. I don't remember being afraid of it when I was a kid. And when I watched it with him, I was like covering his eyes. I was like, I don't know if you want to watch this.
This might give you nightmares.
Like, Mommy, stop it. Mommy, stop it. And he knows that I have a horror podcast and I watch a ton of horror movies. And he's like, I don't want horror. I don't like it. I don't want it. And he like took my hand off of his eyes and he was like, this isn't scary. And I was like, that fucking centipede is fucking rolling into that guy's ear, you little creep. Like, I didn't say that out loud, but I thought it.
Is this nothing to you?
Okay, you little creep. But yeah, that's. Oh, Corby, I love you.
I don't know. Now that you mentioned it, actually, I think I noticed this like last year. I was trying to watch specific things for the Christmas season, and they kept getting, not even the original Willy Wonka, no shade to Johnny Depp, but the Johnny Depp.
All of the shade from this side.
Fair enough. I'll let you have that. That was the one that they kept like on repeat, and I'm like, okay, great. Could I see Gene Wilder, please? At the very least. But
rest in peace.
Yes, R.I.P. I like The Grinch from 2000. That's one that I watched when I was a kid. Gremlins, which ironically would be my first horror movie. So
there's
a nice little link there. Yeah, no, my mom had my brother and I watched that, scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. And not even because of the Gremlins. It was because of the story that Kate tells about her dad. I'm like, fuck. But
that was weird, though. That was creepy.
A little bit. It was just, I have a very vivid imagination. So a kid, I was picturing it, and I was like, oh my god. But that's one. What else? I recently watched, don't hurt me, for the first time, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, so now I have that. It was not one that I grew up watching for some reason, but...
Okay, listen. I don't want people asking how old I am, so I'm not going to ask you specifically. Ballpark it.
Okay.
20s, 30s, teens?
You mean like currently?
Yes.
Okay, late 20s.
You've never seen Christmas Vacation?
No, unfortunately not. It's one that my parents know, of course. It just, once again, for some reason, when I was a kid, they never said, hey, let's sit down and watch this, which I'm going to put most of the blame there. But I get very
Parents.
sidetracked. I get very sidetracked with things. On the bright side, they at least showed me Rocky Horror Picture Show when I was younger, so there's that.
Mama and Papa Dice, what have you been doing the past late 20 years? What the fuck? It's fucking Christmas Vacation. It is one of the most quotable films of all time. Not just for Christmas.
True.
I mean, do you understand that for 2 months out of the year, I walk around alone, randomly saying out loud, and why is the carpet all wet, Todd? There's nobody here, and my carpet's not. I have hardwood floors. I don't know, Margot. I mean, like, I do this out loud alone.
I do that all the time with random shit. Most of the time, I'll stop and go, why?
Yeah, I mean, like, endlessly quotable. Anyway, keep going.
Now we have the knowledge. But that was
Mom and Papa Dice.
That was my choice. I decided to watch it this year. We're trying to get better. But going back to the whole watch list of over thousands of movies, that was one. So I got that. What else? There's a few. There's my go-tos. Of course, I like Scrooged. Scrooged is a lot of fun to me. So. And
did you watch It's a Wonderful Knife yet?
I haven't. I need to. I've been hearing some good things.
So good. Anyway, keep going.
We must watch this, of course. Yes, that and and there was another one from this year. I'm sure there's several actually. Let me rephrase that. But A Christmas Carol is always a really interesting movie to observe. For me, there's so many different variations. The Disney version is one that I watched as a kid. The Muppets version. There's one that doesn't get talked about a whole lot that I got the physical copy of this year that I quite like. It's very basic title. Christmas Carol, the musical from 2004. It has Kelsey Grammer as Scrooge. But
a little secret about me. I'm a big Real Housewives fan.
Yeah.
I don't like Kelsey Grammer because of what he did to Camille.
Fair enough.
He got his side chick pregnant before he broke up with her. Fuck you, Kelsey.
The drama.
I love me some drama. As long as it doesn't involve me, I'm good.
Yes.
Yeah.
But those are some that I like. We're still expanding, of course. I've grown to like the original and even part 2 just a little bit. Silent Night, Deadly Night. But, yeah. The others, well, you know, Louise, mine is Christmas with the Cranks.
Love me some Jamie Lee Curtis.
Not in a Halloween setting. I'm sure it's shocking to me, at least.
It's really cute. It's a cute movie.
All right. Someone mentioned Salo. CP's ears are burning. Yeah. Somewhere in England, Charles is going, someone said Salo. If anybody wants to see reviews of movies like that, go over to WILIscredia. You will find them there. Bless him. Subjecting himself to all this for our entertainment. Fourth drawer down, note to self, vomit or poop. Okay.
That's weird, but I like it. Happy holidays, fourth drawer down.
I think he's taking notes on what you don't like.
Thank you, friend. I was like, this bitch is going to send an email to Booms with movies full of fucking poop and vomit, and I'm going to be pissed.
I mean, I'm not saying that is not a possibility. We never know.
Fourth drawer down, I need a clarification. And yes, kids fucked me up, Louise.
Oh, God.
Did you see that, guys?
Oh, God. There's so many movies with, like, children or kids in the title. Which one is that?
You know Chloe Sevigny? the actress. Chloe Sevigny. She was in. Oh my god, she was in so many things. She was in. Was she an American Psycho? I can't
I don't
remember,
know.
but look it up. Look it up. It was a very independent, very mid '90s film, and
All right.
it was terrifying. It's a movie about anybody who's under the age of probably, I would say, 38 doesn't understand the AIDS panic of the 80s and the 90s before AIDS wasn't. I mean, AIDS is scary. Any kind of STI is scary. Don't fucking use a condom, you assholes. What are you thinking?
Get yourself tested. Goddamn.
Get tested every 6 months. It's not that hard and it's free as long as we have Planned Parenthood. Fuck you, Republicans. But what I'm saying is, like, as long as you can get it for free, get tested. As long as you get condoms for free, get them. If you can't get them for free where you live, text me. I'll mail them to you. I don't give a fuck. Protect yourselves. But back then, it was like the biggest fear was AIDS. And it was a movie about a girl that and this boy, and it was just, oh my god, it was so good, so good.
No, wrong.
First independent film I ever watched, actually. Yeah.
Okay. Intriguing. We must investigate.
Yes.
You're fine, Louise. This is all part of the interaction, darling. Yes. Yes.
Louise, you're everything. Stop it.
Preach for Willy Wonka. It was always on TV on Christmas Day here in Ireland. Oh, okay, cool.
Girl! Yeah.
So they have appreciation for Willy Wonka in Ireland. That's nice. Fourth row down. Yeah, see, I keep doing that. Fourth row down. There we go. Enunciate. Yes, The Wizard of Oz was always shown on TV when I was a kid.
That could be a non-horror horror.
Oh yeah, no, that scared me when I was a kid, and it isn't even what you would think. Nothing to do with the flying monkeys or the witch. Not that. What scared me was the Tin Man when they were trying to, like, unfreeze him. Freaked me out for some reason. Maybe the Uncanny Valley thing. I don't know.
Mine was the I Can't Get Home. Oof. For a child.
Trauma.
Yeah. Trauma.
Louise, the Santa... Oh, that's another one. See, I liked that one a lot when I was a kid. The Santa Claus.
I've never seen
with
that.
Tim Allen. Well, the first one... There's a few at this point, apparently. The first one is, in my opinion, a nostalgic classic. Rather entertaining. I enjoy it. The second one, I don't remember all that much about, but it's all about, finding Mrs. Claus, essentially. And then the third one is where they start to get a little bit ridiculous. Just a little bit. They start bringing in other people like the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy, Mother Nature, and you have Martin Short as Jack Frost, which I'm like,
but I love Martin Short.
Yes. And then after that, I don't know what happened. I don't know. I have no idea. But I guess there's...
Okay, before you bring up the next one, I have to be a terrible, terrible, terrible guest. I apologize to everybody watching, and I apologize to you, Dice. I'm gonna pee my pants.
Oh god, please. Run to the bathroom, go, fly!
Can you have discussion, and I'm just gonna step 48 seconds. Time me. Bye.
Oh god. I don't think we'll time, but we'll do this. One moment. Whoop. There we go. We'll wait for her to come back. Until then, ladies, gentlemen, and otherwise, what are some Christmas movies that you guys have been watching? Some new ones, perhaps, at least to you guys. Some traditionals, perhaps. I know I had mentioned watching National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation for the first time this year. See, we got a lot of catching up to do, okay? If it's not horror, we don't automatically jump on it, I'm afraid. It's very sad. Oh. What else do we typically watch? We've been trying to expand the Christmas movies to watch, especially the horror ones. Like I said, Silent Night, Deadly Night is one that I've been going through this year. For your entertainment, of course. So the third one, better watch out, went up today, in case you didn't know, so you can enjoy that. And she's back!
Oh.
That was fast, I'll give you credit, my guy.
a very fast peer, but I'm also a very frequent peer. That sucks.
We try to stay hydrated. This is what happens, okay? It's important to be
Yeah.
hydrated. This is the consequence.
Especially if you want your skin to look good after a certain age.
Mm.
You gotta drink a lot.
Let's see. Fourth row down. One of the first scary movies I can remember seeing is Duel. The one about the truck. Does it qualify as psychological horror? I don't know. I would think it probably could.
Never
It's all about
saw it.
psychological warfare.
No.
I need to watch it in full. I haven't seen it yet. Totally.
Ooh, speaking of trucks and psychological horror, The Hitcher.
Oh, I like that one. Yes.
The original. Damn. That fucked me up.
Just a little bit. See, another reason why you don't pick up hitchhikers. Okay. Hello, Wayne. Hi all. It is 11:29 a.m. Thursday here in Sydney, Australia. Well,
Hi, Wayne.
Hello.
Good
in the
morning.
future. Yeah, good morning. Good early afternoon. How you doing? Garbage day. Yes, yeah, we did a review for Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2 this year. You're welcome. It was at least entertaining to go through. Boys don't cry,
Oh.
Louise says.
That was devastating, Louise. Good one.
Wayne, the recent Christmas Go 2 movie, The Night Before, stoner comedy and drama stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Seth Rogen, and Anthony Mackie, Michael Shannon. Interesting.
Ooh, I will watch that.
Maybe that would be one that my parents would like. And actually, that reminded me, before I get crucified, Nightmare Before Christmas. That's another one for me. Thank you. The one that I didn't know how to feel about as a kid, but now we like it.
In my collection, I have a film, a DVD that was bought for me. I work for an eye doctor's office. So one of our contact lens vendors a few years ago was telling me about a movie called Office Christmas Party. If anybody's ever heard of this, I had never heard of it. And he was like, this is the funniest movie you'll ever see in your entire life. He bought me a copy. It is sitting in my DVD shelf, still in the cellophane. I've never watched it. I'm going to watch it after we hang up.
Fair enough.
If
It
anybody
is the
knows
season.
about it, tell me if it's funny.
Yeah.
Yay!
Let us know, people. Fourth row down. Fourth. We'll just say fourth.
Thank you, friend.
Yes. Bless you. No, I will not be sending movies featuring vomit or poop. No, really. Okay.
Fourth row down, you're my new best friend. Thank you. Could you please email Boomer and tell him stop doing that to me?
Send your mail. Wayne, Kids was the movie debut of Rosario Dawson. I watched Kids in theaters, had on DVD, Blu-ray, and a documentary. Very nice.
Do you know, Wayne, I was in middle school when Kids came out, and my friend and I watched it. We scammed her mom into letting us rent it. And we watched the director of it. I don't know if he wrote it. I think he wrote it and directed it. Anyway, he did an interview with David Letterman, and it is so fucking off the rails. See if you can find it on YouTube. It was crazy. And every time I think of Kids, I think of, obviously, the movie itself because it was so disturbing, but also that he talked about a friend of his who put bamboo skewers through his ass.
Kinky.
Hand to God. Hand to God. Yeah. Watch it.
Here you go, everybody. Some homework for you.
Thank you and good night. I'm Gabby.
Wayne Scrooge with Bill Murray, watched in theaters, have on DVD and soundtrack on vinyl record. Yeah, that's Danny Elfman doing the soundtrack, I believe.
Love that you have so many vinyls.
Best non-horror Christmas movie, Die Hard. No, see, there's a lot of debate in certain groups about if that's a Christmas movie or not, and I'm staying out of this. This is not my jurisdiction. Don't ask Cody Leach. I don't know. He has a Die Hard ornament, I know, on his Christmas tree, so I'm willing to bet what the response will be. The Weeds. Is A Nightmare Before Christmas a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie? Haha. I consider it both, but I have heard that people, and I like the way that they phrase this. It's a Christmas movie for horror fans, is the way that they kind of phrased it.
Oh, okay.
But I'll watch it in October. I'll watch it in December. It's a nice little like double do kind of movie. It's lovely. Wayne, once again, Harold and Kumar, a very 3D Merry Christmas. Third movie in Harold and Kumar trilogy, stoner comedy at Christmas. I've heard of that one. I have. It just faded from my memory for a little while. Better Watch Out was filmed entirely
I loved that
Australia.
movie.
Okay,
Wayne.
And this is the most recent one, I believe. I just want to make sure, because
babysitter and the little boy, and he's causing the troubles. Wayne, specify.
Yeah. Yes, let's clarify. I just want to make sure, simply because I know that I know about that one, and I know about, once again, since I'm going through the Silent Night franchise, the third one is known as Better Watch Out. So let's clarify on that. I think that one was filmed in California, though. So
I feel like most people don't know enough about Silent Night, Deadly Nights.
There might be a reason.
There's no vomit, so that's good.
No, that's true. There's no vomit. Wayne, once again, Duel is Steven Spielberg's movie directorial debut. I have it on DVD. It's dope.
I'll look it up.
Very nice. I have.
Sorry, guys. I've been up since 4:00 this morning.
She is a mother. She works.
And
yes.
Yeah. And I'm on Eastern, so it's almost 8:00. So
a little time difference.
I am old. I am a mother. I've been up for 18 hours. I'm sorry.
Good Lord.
Or 16 hours. Sorry.
Either way.
I have stamina. I'm good.
I swear we won't be here for too long. I swear. I have Nightmare Before Christmas.
Give me another cocktail and I'm good.
Hey, there you go. It works. So much better than coffee. Larry Clark, directed for kids, is a sick freak, really. Ken Park, a movie by him, is still banned here in Australia. There are a lot of movies, I have to say, that are typically banned in Australia.
Ken Park.
Yes, the recent
here.
Okay. Oh God, I don't know.
Oh, okay, good.
All right, good. Got it. I also have Better Watch Out on DVD. You have an excellent collection, so yes. Louise, is there a movie you both think portrays mental illness properly, or mental health properly? That's a wide
Horror?
spectrum. Yeah, does it have to be horror, or just any movie?
I'm trying to think of a movie. I think that having not seen it and having my own personal experience with addiction, I kind of guess, for how disturbing it is for people who have seen it, that Requiem for a Dream accurately portrays addiction.
Mm-hmm.
I do consider addiction a mental illness. It's a disease. Come at me. I think any movie that deals with postpartum depression. What was that one? It was Mila Kunis, and I hate her. And I think her mom was Susan Sarandon. Do you know what I'm talking about? It was on Hulu. Oh, a good one. A good one that portrays mental health properly is Perks of Being a Wallflower. Did you guys ever see that?
I need to watch that one. I've only seen little bits and pieces.
Well, I can't tell you about it because it'll be a spoiler. I can't even tell you what his disorder is, but yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
I'm still looking around at a lot of different movies, I think. One, ironically, some may laugh at this, as long as I'm getting which one it is correct. Iron Man 2? Or maybe 3. I'm not sure. Whichever one, where he has a panic attack, and that's like a big part of it. I felt that, as someone who deals with anxiety and panic attacks, I was like, wow, damn, they got this pretty right. Very interesting. So there's one.
That's a really good question that I would love to think on and put it in the comments later.
Yeah. Feel free to reiterate this in the comments, of course, Louise. Another one that I would go to simply because, and I don't know how many other people would see it this way, but I do, is The Frighteners. And I can already tell that some people are rolling their eyes, but it's because it deals a lot with grief. And someone, Frank, who is not able to really cope with losing a loved one, but makes it seem like he's got it all together. As I believe I said in my review of it, the ghosts, those who are dead, have more of a life than Frank does. So that's I feel is a pretty decent depiction of someone who's dealing with grief but not really wanting to. If that's any indication.
Yeah. I think any movie that accurately portrays grief is a really good representation.
Yeah, because everybody deals with it differently. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Wayne, I have still watched Ken Park. Louise, oh my god, Perks is amazing.
Thank you, friend. Yes, so good. And actually, my now ex-husband grew up in Pittsburgh. So all of the places that they were in that movie was filmed in Pittsburgh, I've been to many, many, many times. And no spoiler, the end of the movie, when they come out of the Fort Pitt Tunnel, after I read the book before the movie was made, we didn't have a pickup truck, so I just stuck my head out the window like Emma Watson did at
Close enough.
Or in the middle, and that was I've been through Fort Pitt Tunnel many, 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 many times. He grew up in the East End of Pittsburgh, so it was very rare that we went through that tunnel, but that's how you get to the airport, and Pittsburgh Airport is very cheap, so if anybody lives in Pennsylvania, you have to fly somewhere, try Pittsburgh Airport. So I flew out of Pittsburgh Airport a lot, and so I was on my way to visit my best friend in Chicago and hung my head out the window. Yeah. To Imagine Dragons. Yeah. Yeah.
See, there you go. It's close enough. It works. Wayne, Angel Baby,
that
and Australian drama. Ooh.
Did you ever see that, Dice?
No, this is the first time hearing of it, actually.
That movie's fucked up.
Oh, one of those for the list of ooh. I watched Perks of Being in theaters, have on DVD, soundtrack on vinyl record. Ezra Miller is in it. Yeah.
I hope they're okay.
Yeah. I hope they're receiving what they need.
They need
I'll
help.
put it that way. Yes.
Yeah.
We need to talk about Kevin. See the movie.
Couldn't finish it.
Ooh. I've heard it's a trip. I haven't seen it yet.
No, I have a son.
No.
I'm good. Yeah,
no. Wait on it. Thank you. Louise, we need to talk about Kevin is messed up. Leaves a lasting impression. Oh, it's one of those.
Like this. Yeah, scared. No.
All right. So, as we get back to some of these questions right here, if anybody has more questions for Gabby, feel free to leave them in the chat. We shall be getting to them before we leave, of course. So, who is a comfort character?
Wait, what is on topic? Is that like
on topic? Oh, just like horror, really.
Okay.
We're not too tight on.
I was gonna say, I hope it's not we need to talk about Kevin because I didn't finish it. Okay.
No. It's on topic as in questions about horror movies for Gabby, mental health, questions about they look like people.
Oh, God,
you guys got it. Is that right?
Yeah.
So, as we wait for this, what would be who would be some comfort characters to you, horror or not?
Comfort characters. Jeez. Demi from The Exorcist. I think he would be a really fun friend and a really comforting influence in somebody's life. I'm sad what happened to him. Maybe. Looking at my I'm looking at my collection right now. Ooh, you know who'd be a really comforting presence until they're not? Captain Spaulding.
Interesting. I suppose I could see that.
I think that he would be somebody that you're like, oh my God, it's so tense. I'm so scared. And he would be like, what? I'm a fucking clown. And then he would fucking take you to Otis and kill the shit out of you.
I guess ice cream is always on the table.
Tutti fucking fruity. The fuck is her name? Torrance.
Oh, Wendy Torrance?
Wendy Torrance, I think, would be very comforting until shit goes down and she kind of freaks out and gets scared. Calm down,
a little bit of a mental
Shelley.
breakdown.
A little bit, girl. Chill. But I guess those would be comforting characters. I think if we're talking about horror comfort food, like my horror comforts, my go-tos are always Scream, the original, Sleepaway Camp, the original. Actually, I like the sequels too because they're just stupid. Hell House LLC, my favorite horror movie of all time. The Shining, one of my favorite winter holiday horror films. House of a Thousand Corpses. I can't think of it until I'm in the mood for what I want. There are so many comforts that,
Yeah, there's something you don't even really think about until you're like, yeah, well, I just want to watch something kind of chill, and you pick it out, you don't even think about it. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny that you pick Damien for one, as a matter of fact, because I always find him to be a very interesting character. I quite like.
He's very layered.
Yeah, very layered, and yet very empathetic, sympathetic. And as I've discovered, many an individual be thirsting after a priest. I won't judge too harshly. I'll just watch.
Preach.
It could be worse.
I'll put those boxing gloves back on with your little sweatsuit.
Yes, you got a Sylvester Stallone thing going on. Go off. Come on now.
Hey, bro. I love me a collar.
Hey, something about a man in a cloth. I don't know. Is it a uniform?
I'm trying to sin on you. Going to hell for that one. Bye.
I'm going to have frequent flyer miles. We already knew this. It's fine. It's fine.
I'll see all of you there.
Yeah. I'll reserve a table. I expect my name plaque to be there. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Let's.
I bought the tickets.
Yes. Yeah. Express. First class. Thank you. Okay. So, as I think one of the final questions before we get to what remains of any comments and questions that the audience has, what would you like to say to anybody who is listening or watching who is dealing with anything similar to what is portrayed in They Look Like People?
First of all, you're not alone. Dice is here. I'm here. Booms is here. Anybody that, if you go on either of our social media anythings, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, whatever, I don't do social media, whatever else there is out there. If you go on any of them, find us, click on who we follow and who follows us. And you could click on any single one of them. Anybody would be happy, especially us. Like I said earlier, I lost a sister to addiction, which was triggered by her mental illness. And I and Boomer, if you ever listen to the show, we've both been very open about our mental health struggles and triumphs. And you're not weird. You're not bad. You're not crazy. You are normal. Unfortunately, we're still not in a place in society that we can say that having a mental illness is normal. It's regular. Everybody has something. We all have struggles and we all have things that we all have to go through. And we all have things that we're going to go through that no matter how many people are standing in front of us, we feel alone. And sometimes, you might know that you have a support system, but you don't want to use that support system. And if that's the case, you want to reach out to somebody who maybe you don't know that well, that you just want to listen and not know you and not judge you. I'm not saying that the people in your regular system would, but I'm just saying sometimes you don't even want that fear, and you would never have that with us. We're here for you. There is never going to be a time in your life, as long as Booms and I are on this fucking rock, that you ever have to go through anything alone. Ever. You don't have to tell us your backstory. You don't have to tell us your future. Tell us what you're going through right now, and we'll be there for you. Obviously, we're not trained to anything, but we have sure shipping through some shit, and we can at least sympathize.
Yeah. I echo all of this, of course. And there really are a lot of, as I'm sure a majority of people who are familiar with the horror community are aware. There's a lot of people in the horror community who will literally open arms, be like, "What can I do to help?" And if all that would take is just listening, great. If it takes a little bit more, fine. Some other people, if for some reason, no judgment. Once again, I would like to think that I kind of come across as someone who really doesn't judge that much. Not seriously. If for some reason you don't want to come to me, you don't want to come to Gabby or Boomer, there's plenty of people who are very warm and welcoming and will listen and help and perhaps share. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Sledges are the first people to come to mind.
Oh my god, hi guys. I love you guys. Yeah.
So it's
amazing people.
Very much. Very supportive, very open. The first, just as an example, a little insight, if you will, the first interaction face to face, so to speak, through something like this that I had with Ken when he had me on for my first horror movie. Afterwards, with just that little interaction between me, he said, "If you're ever in the area, you've got a place to stay." And I'm like, "You don't even know me. The fuck?"
But you know he meant it, right?
Oh yeah, 100%, wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
So see, just as an example, I'm sure there's tons of people. So.
By the way, we're meeting in Michigan and we're going to the Sledge's house.
Yay! Send pictures.
Yeah.
Send postcards. Yes.
No, I'm talking about you and Meek. What do you mean? Fuck Boomer. I can go anywhere with him.
Fuck. Okay. Just bring the phone. Come on. But see, it's as Gabby said, even if it's someone that you don't necessarily want to lay things, which I understand. You don't want to lay things on people that you know. There are a plethora of options. I always leave resources in the description for episodes like this that are to help with stuff like this. There are always resources for if you just want to talk to someone you don't know. Sometimes that's better, which is fine. So,
great.
There's always options, my friends.
Always. And I think that before we wrap up talking about the film itself, I think that one of the things that I really, 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 really wanted to touch on that was so effective about this film is, I mean, obviously, we have seen so many movies about female best friends that went through something traumatic together and they came back together years later and they're supposed to be so put together and they're supposed to be over it. And then, of course, they all crumble and, and they all kind of go back into their trauma responses and things like that. And spoiler alert, there are no trauma responses for the main characters in this film. They're just two guys. One of the things that this movie does more effectively than I think I've seen in any film involving two male main characters is that you have two men who are both going through emotional crises that have the unwavering support of another man, that they feel comfortable, not so much Christian until closer to the end, but definitely Wyatt, that feel that they have a home to come to. And I think that there's a really big stigma. If for some reason for females, it's like, whatever, bitches be crazy. So we can kind of lean into that, and we can talk to our friends about our depression and our mood swings, and hormones are the reason. And, it doesn't have to be clinical. It's just because we get periods and whatever. It's like, no, we have things. Everybody has a thing. And we get to have all of these excuses. Men don't. And to see two men really, truly supporting each other in a time of crisis, this movie is so beautiful for that. It made me feel good. And I hope that men who watch this movie, if you feel like you don't have a man present in your life that you can be like that with, again, message Booms. I mean, Booms has been very open about his struggles and his triumphs. And, but that was something that this movie really, like, it got me in the heart.
Yeah, no, there was a few, even when they were just fucking around, doing stuff that they used to do when they were kids, I was like, this is nice. I like this.
Yeah.
And the ending, just like you said, love that. Wonderful.
I love that. Yeah. But yeah, they went through two of the hardest times of their lives. I mean, when you think about what men are supposed to identify themselves as, it's a provider, it's a baby maker, it's, whatever. So you think that, spoiler alert, Wyatt is the one that's going through the hardest time, because Wyatt is the one who's having these delusions, who thinks that there are demons taking over all of these people. It turns out that Wyatt is saving Christian. Christian identifies as a bro, a dude. I have a great job. I make a ton of money. I wear great clothes. I work out. I do all of these things, and I can get the bitches, and I can do all of this shit. He loses his job. He loses his girl. We find out from before that he had a lady and she left him, and he just wants to feel like he's providing something for someone, and he provides the comfort to Wyatt, and Wyatt needs somebody to come in from the outside that he can trust to tell him that this isn't real. And that's what Christian does for him. This movie is just, I mean, it is very heartwarming.
Yeah,
it's a weird word to use for a movie like this, but it is.
Yeah, you wouldn't, I wasn't expecting anything really heartwarming from a movie like this, but yeah, no, it gave a lot of very empathetic and warm moments. And like you said, we really don't get that between two adult guys. And we should get more of that. That would be great.
Yes. Hello, straight cisgendered men in 2023, almost.
It's okay to hug your bro.
Hug your friends. Talk to your friends. I can guarantee you. When you grew up as a girl, bitch, you got all kinds of shit happening. Hairs and bloods and fluids and all of these things that you don't know is normal until you talk to your girlfriends. Guys, talk to your friends. Okay? You don't have to talk about your boners or whatever the fuck boys talk about all the time. Boners and beer and
titties.
Cowboys. I don't fucking care. I hate everything. But like, you can talk about all of these things, and I can guarantee you the first friend that you say to him, please don't judge me, but this is what I want to talk to you about. Do you know what he's going to say to you? I know.
Oh, dude, same.
And that is a chip off of the stigma block. Just keep plugging away, guys. It doesn't take away from your masculinity. Speaking as a straight woman, when you express yourself, hi.
He's emotionally available, yes.
Ooh, hi, hello. I have boobies. Yeah, like, it's attractive. And it endears you to your partner, Even if your partner isn't the person that you're sharing with, just the fact that we can sense that you're unburdening yourself and that you're being a little bit more vulnerable. And if you're more vulnerable with your friends, you can be a little bit more vulnerable with your partner. And it just kind of snowballs. And it just really, being healthy for yourself by expressing your feelings is going to make every relationship in your life more healthy. And also, P.S., therapy is not a problem. It's a solution. Get a therapist.
Yes. It's beneficial.
They work.
Yeah.
There
you go.
I'm done preaching.
So this is what it's all about. It's all right. So let's see what everyone has been saying here. Talking about, we need to talk about Kevin, I believe. So depressing. We need to talk about Kevin Ezra Miller. Again, laughing. Seen Talk to Me, Australian supernatural horror. I have not yet. I do need to.
I saw it in the theater.
Louise just watched Talk to Me recently. Very good. Different take on possession.
Agree.
I'd have a mental breakdown watching her smoke a cigarette. She let that ash hang forever. The meme that is Wendy Torres.
She did. Yeah.
That was the most tense part of the whole movie.
Makes me want to smoke a cig.
Wayne, I watched Talk to Me in theaters, have on Blu-ray, my fellow Aussie's own horror, Aussie's James Wan. Leigh Whannell co-created Saw, Whannell, Insidious, and Wan The Conjuring. Yes, we have a lot to thank them for, honestly.
Lake Mungo.
Ooh. Louise, I will definitely check out your podcast. Gabby.
Thank you, Louise. I swear I'm not as angry as I am on the show.
It's all good fun, it's all bad. You do have
nicer.
the link to the podcast, of course, at the very top, pinned in the chat and in the description, of course. So there you go.
I can't wait to talk to you further, Louise.
Louise is fabulous, of course. Wayne, I have to have ankle operation early next week. My God, I hope it goes well. We'll put it that way. My ankle dies tonight. I hope not. I hope it goes well.
I'm a prayer. Praying for you, Wayne. Anyway, keep going.
Yes, good thoughts.
I love
God.
thoughts.
Healing thoughts.
Yes.
We all go a little mad sometimes. Yes. And that's
preach.
It's such a prevalent, and I think it's very ironic, it's such a prevalent quote that is used in the horror community. Some just do it because, hey, that's from Psycho, like that quote, or it's from Scream, vicariously. And others are over here going, so many meanings. So, life is depressing. Depression is life. Learn to cope is the key. Yes. And
Learning
there are many
to know
different
when
ways
to ask for help, coping is the key.
This too, yes. There's many, many, many different ways to cope that are very beneficial. Talk to someone you can trust better than keeping it to yourself. Very much.
Yes, Wade.
Bottling it up doesn't do any goddamn good. No. What movie are we talking about? This would be, I think if you're referring to the one that this episode is all based around, this would be They Look Like People, 2015. Unless you're talking about a different one. Does this star Zachary Levi? No. Let's see. As a man, the saddest thing I ever knew was a guy we grew up with, sadly, decided to talk himself out of the equation. Understood. We never knew why. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what can be quite sad. And I do thoroughly despise the stigma that's around men and mental health. We need to work on that.
Men are allowed to be sad. Cry.
Yeah. Cry.
It feels good.
Use a punching bag.
Get the pillow over your face and scream as loud as you can. We've all done that.
Yeah. If you happen to live near a bridge,
that actually really does help.
Scream over the bridge, I've heard
Yes, but
that.
don't jump. Ow,
Don't no.
my wrist.
Don't do that. But wherever you feel like the police will probably not be called, that you can scream. Being vulnerable is not a weakness. We are all people after all. Yes. Yes.
Wayne, you are everything.
Bless you. Yes. Make sure therapists last longer than one. And yeah. Don't base your therapist on anyone in a horror movie. Just bottom line. Yeah. Yeah. Nice song tie-in, bruh. Yes. I do like that song, though. So, I believe we should be wrapping up now. I do thank everyone for your questions and comments. Yes. Very important. So, before I say anything about anything coming up, etc., I will allow you to plug whatever's going on at Podcast in the Woods.
I couldn't tell you, but I'm gonna guess.
Close enough.
So I know that we have our episode on 7 with our very good friend Newman from Movies for Days is coming out soon. We are currently doing a weekly recap of this current season of Dragula on Shudder, our favorite show. I am very opinionated. Boomer is very fair, and I am not. It's the truth. You can find us at Woods Podcast 1 on Twitter and Instagram. You can email us at podcastinthewoods1@gmail.com. If you find us on the Slasher app, go to Slasher TV, download the app and search for Podcast in the Woods. That's where you can speak to me directly. If you go to facebook.com, search Podcast in the Woods, look for our thumbnail. I don't know how to put a URL or whatever the hell it's called because, again, I don't do social media. That's another one that I'm in charge of. I actually do respond to people on those, though. Go ahead and if you want to talk to me, you can look for us on that. If you want to talk to Booms directly, you can go to our Twitter or Instagram pages. Go to Spotify, anywhere, Apple Podcasts, anywhere that you listen to your podcasts and find us. Find a movie that you want to hear about or that you like or don't like that you want to hear other people talk about. We don't really do a lot with newer films. We like to talk about movies that we've seen. And we have a Patreon. I don't know what the Patreon link is, so I'm not going to tell you. Just search for us and look for our thumbnail.
You should be able to find it through the other links. I have all of this in the description.
Woods Podcast, I think it is. I have no idea. But the best way to support any podcast is to go to your favorite podcasting platform and give us a 5-star review. It's free. It takes a second. You don't even have to type anything. It just helps people find us and helps us get a little bit further so that we can keep doing what we're doing.
Very well. And as I said, all of these links, or at least the ones that I'm aware of, I'll probably add more in post, will be in the description, or perhaps in the chat itself, pinned to the top. So whichever way is easiest for you, I do highly recommend, of course. It's also fun to listen to the episodes, as I said before. Thank you, Louise.
Definitely listen to our Demon Wind episode featuring our very good friend Dice Rollen.
It was lots of fun. At least for some.
I had fun talking about it. Fuck it.
Yes. Well, that's what's important.
Movie,
that's what's important is getting some sort of fun from it. Yeah. And as far as on my end goes, more Silent Night, Deadly Night, I believe. I put up my review for Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, Better Watch Out today. You can watch that, still fresh. And I've already covered the first and part 2. You can see all that. And then, hopefully, this is my aim. We're never really sure, but this is my aim. I'm hoping to get Silent Night, Deadly Night 4, Initiation, and the last one, The Toy Maker. And perhaps the requel, or whatever it is, this month. We'll see how it goes. But, look for more Silent Night, Deadly Night. And aside from that, I don't know what we're going to do as far as the next episode goes. We're going into the new year, darling. Yes, 2024. Mm-hmm.
Terror Train!
Oh god. We've already covered Terror Train. I've done that. I have. At least the original.
There's a remake. Did you know that?
Yep.
Did you do both of them?
No, just the first one so far. We'll see about the remake. But I don't know who my next guest will be. I have a whole list of people to reach out to, so we'll see how that goes. Obviously, you guys will know what I know, and we will go from there. But you can listen to all of the previous podcast episodes on Spotify under Brain Mucus, or watch/listen to them here on my channel. We've had quite a few lovely guests thus far, and we hope to continue this trend. So, once again, I appreciate everybody in the chat for tuning in, having a listen, giving questions and feedback. Always appreciate you.
Nice meeting you guys.
Yes. And we will have Gabby back. We'll have Gabby back. I'm holding out on watching Hell House LLC for a watch party with her. So,
bitch.
Yes, it'll be fun.
I
don't
am
know
your
when
partner.
We'll do it. Yes, but I'm gonna have her back on for that.
Come at me when I'm in the nursing home. I'll still come back.
Oh my god. Yes.
I don't give a fuck.
Everybody be quiet.
I'll watch the movie anytime anybody wants me to. Best movie ever.
Yeah. I've heard many good things about it, so I do look forward to that. We will set that up. Once again, you guys will know about it, because we'll probably do it like this. And with that being said, anything else before we shuffle off?
Oh my god, friend, thank you so much for having me. It was so nice to talk to you again.
Yes.
And happy all of the holidays. And happy holidays to everybody who watched and commented, and everybody, thank you. I hope you listen to us. If you don't, I completely understand. I promise you Boomer's way better than me. You want to listen for him. But it's just really good to talk to you. I'm so glad I got to see you today. Merry Christmas. Stop it. Yes. Oh my god, we're so cute.
Merry holidays. All that. Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas.
Happy New Year. Yeah.
Yes. And Happy New Year, since I don't know, I might do a different kind of live stream before the new. Who knows? I don't know. Everybody doing their own thing right now. It's the holidays, So, but in case I don't, in a live format, Happy New Year. So, always a pleasure, of course, to have you on and to discuss horror. We will do this again.
Yay!
If you'll stick with me just a moment after we end this. And for everybody else, as soon as I get to the right place, there we go. For everybody else, remember, if you feel something oozing out of your headphones, don't worry. It's just your brain.